we are going to talk about the core of all the new technologies that you see. So you've been seeing ChatGPT, Claude, all of these new GenAI technologies which are making so much of round in the industry right now. There's a backbone to that. That is the deep learning. So this machine learning, deep learning, and within that deep learning has played a very important role to set all these things. So that's what we're going to understand today. What is this deep learning? How does it work at a high level? We will see some internally, but we will look at a very helicopter view and understand how these things actually work and what kind of impact they're bringing to the world. So let's get started with the today's session. So to talk about deep learning are also called as the neural network. Okay. Now, when few years back, when scientists thought of okay, how the humans are actually working. So, how does the human brain actually work? So, human brain has all these neurons. We have billions of neurons, and then there are also a lot of connection that happens within this neuron. So, there are certain parts that get triggered on certain occasions. For example, there are certain parts which only process the audio. There are certain parts in the brain which only process the vision part. Then when I'm speaking, there are certain part that takes care of it. There are the motor cortex which takes care of all the movements and also brain has some very complex features inbuilt. So scientists thought, okay, how do we integrate this in the computers? That how can we create something like this in a computer so that we can have a machine that can mimic the human intelligence, right? So AI is all about how do we bring the human intelligence in an artificial way to the computers. So all of this thought started with that. So this neurons or neural network, which it is based on, is all about how do we break down the problem statement. So we call it feature extraction. So in this example, if you see, if you have to recognize the car, so the car can be broken down into different type of features. For example, at a high level, this will try to just look at the edges. Okay, like for example, what are the edges of tires, edges of window, edges of the car bonnet, and all those things. And the next step, it can try to understand some more granularity. For example, from the edges, it will try to bring down, okay, this is a window, this is a proper bonnet, this is a tire. So from the edges, it goes to that next level. Then it goes to the one more layer. So there are layers of learning that happens in the deep learning. That's why it is called as a deep learning because it goes deeper. It tries to break down the given problem statement into smaller problems or smaller parts. It tries to go deeper by breaking it. That in this example, image, it does extract the features by going for the edges, parts, then trying to combine it together and then get the car identified. So that's where it is also called as a deep learning, but internally it is also called as artificial neural networks. Okay, because these are artificial neural networks, we call them ANN based models on top of which this are built. So if you see, these are neurons which we have here, and there are a connection that happens between the neurons to make the data or information flow from one stage to the next stage. So as this information is flowing from one stage to the next stage, it starts getting complex, complex, complex. And finally, there is some kind of a output that we get. So it's a technology that is transforming the way machines are able to understand, learn, and interact with the complex data. Before deep learning, we were mostly limited to tabular data or a structured data. Okay, for example, like the other machine learning based algorithms which are there, those works on tabular or structured data, but they can't work on complex images, text based data. Whereas deep learning gave us an option by which we can work on complex unstructured data types. So by mimicking the neural networks of the human brain, it is able to like computers to autonomously uncover patterns and make informed decision from vast amount of information. We can feed it n number of data and the models can keep learning the patterns. Okay, and after learning the patterns, the models can be used to represent that knowledge anytime. For example, they use ChatGPT. ChatGPT has a bigger neural network, has learned a lot of information about the language, images, and everything. It has just ingested all that knowledge. And now It can just generate anything because it has got that learning internally inbuilt. Okay. So this is used in the advanced computing, its own neural network to adapt with little to no human intervention. So the deep learning has lot of key applications. Now, anything where we have unstructured data, and from that knowledge, we want to go and uncover some patterns. Okay, we as the humans are very good in terms of looking at things and getting the patterns. For example, as a child, any child, if you showed cat and dog for 2 to 3 times, the child can understand it very well. That we as a humans can understand it very well. But to train it on the machines, it may require a different strategies, lot of data, different approaches to make the model learn about what is the difference between cat and dog. Okay, so in terms of applications, we have application in every domain, be it like data science, where it's all about how the data flows, how the data can be understood, data analytics, data visualizations, building models. So all of that becomes part of the data side. Then the natural language processing or speech and audio. So natural language is not a very easy concept. Like before the ChatGPT and all the GPT or large language models, understanding the language has been a very difficult thing because language, we humans and ourselves like take a lot of time to learn a language. If you think of it, being a child, we learn the language to a good extent by the age of 2.5, 3 to 4 years. Like it take us that much time to get to know one language. And if we want to go beyond more languages, it again takes a lot of time for us to understand that language. In the same way, teaching to the machine the languages was not easy before to the deep learning. But after the deep learning, it became easier because these models can understand the complex structures and work on it. So NLP, speech, audio, all these are like a time series based data. Time series is like the text that follows the time. So every word, for example, what I'm speaking is the T plus one to what I was speaking before. So there is a time with the words. So all the speech, audio, NLP, all of these are like a time series kind of data, uh, which this models can understand very well. On top of it, we have a computer vision. So computer vision is all about the vision that we can see in terms of images, video, all of this, like trying to understand the objects which are present within the images, how the things are moving, what is present, how the objects are interacting within the image. So all of these things we can do. For example, if in an image there is a car and a person standing, so how do we segregate the car and person? How do we say that okay, the person is standing near the car, far from the car? So making those kind of analytics and decisioning on the vision-based data is something we can do through the computer vision. Next is the healthcare and the medical sector. So healthcare being a very important sector plays a role where how do we understand the customer's diagnostic results? How do we understand the disease-based information? For example, based on the lifestyle factors, can we identify that this person is a diabetes or not, diabetic or not? Whether he's going to have a blood pressure in the future? What kind of recommendation we should provide to this person based on his diagnostic results? So things like that, and just these are few, but also let's say making analytics from the X-ray, the diagnostic result, identifying. So few statistics that I had heard few years back were like, for example, X-ray analysis by doctors can have 95% of accuracy. Okay, 5% of the time, still doctors may miss sometimes some important factors. But there were some models which were created with deep learning which had a 96 to 97% performance. Now, these will also do a mistake. It's not like these models can be 100% because these are getting trained on some really complex structures of data that we humans also can't be 100% good with. So these models also struggle with that. But what we can see is these can go beyond the human in terms of this kind of analytics. Then social media analytics. Nowadays, you will see that a lot of images, content, and all is getting generated by the LLM-based models. But on top of it, we can do a lot of analytics in terms of how the customers are engaging with your social media channels, what type of customers are coming, who can engage more, how do you analyze that, what kind of patterns you can bring out that, okay, these are my customers or these are the type of customers who are engaging more and these may not be engaging. On top of it, you can understand what people are talking about over the Twitter or social media, and you can make a judgment around what is the sentiment. For example, for certain brand, maybe like Pepsi, what are people talking over online? Can we understand the sentiment of the text and find out what are people talking about badly or what good they are talking about? So these things can be segregated and the company can work on the bad things and also talk about the good thing that, okay, this is what we are doing good and these are the bad things we need to improve on. So by doing this analytics, we can improve the overall social media engagement for the people. Autonomous vehicles. So these autonomous vehicles are very complex in structure. They will have a lot of different models integrated. For example, for vision, understanding the audio, looking at the surroundings, they'll have a lot of sensors. Now, getting the data from all of these different sensors, devices, and even this can be interacting with the nearby cars and then gathering the data. So there's a lot of data that is getting generated with the autonomous vehicles. So trying to merge it together and creating some kind of a decisions that, okay, what is coming in the front? Is there a red signal identified from the vision? And also, are there any cars in the front? Is there a person standing in the front? So making all this judgment and then taking the next step with the autonomous vehicles becomes a very important thing. On top of it, how do we optimize the battery? How do we optimize the electricity? Human conversation in the car. So, lot of things with the deep learning can be implemented in the autonomous vehicles. Then the cybersecurity, identifying the threats, hackings, identifying any kind of anomaly. So, lot of these things can be done using the deep learning based models. Okay, and guys, like any questions you have, keep posting it over the chat. There is no question right or wrong. It's all about the curiosity. But yeah, like you have questions, just keep it, and we will try to answer anytime. Okay, please don't hesitate to ask any kind of a question. Okay, so now how does this neural network models process the data? So what happens is the first thing as we discussed, there are some
Uh,
input layers.
Sorry to interrupt, Rushikesh. Like we
Yeah.
have one questions from one of our candidate, by the way.
Okay.
So he is asking about the scope for AI and machine learning engineering in future. So can we have this discussions now, or post completing this we can have this
We will do it at the end of the
end
discussion.
of the thing? Okay, fine, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great, great. Yeah, we like the scope of it. We will discuss at the end in a more better way. Like my audio is right. Well, is it like, are you guys able to hear me well?
yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, because yeah, there's one comment saying unclear voice. Okay, great, great. Where semiconductor will fall in the key application of okay, key application of deep learning. So Anthony, semiconductors would be a very different type of technology, but now, see, in terms of GPUs and all the hardware that is getting developed as a backend, semiconductors are still playing a very important role in making the system scale. Okay, so all the semiconductor-based technology are helping, but may not be directly related to the deep learning-based section. Okay, yeah, I'm an architect. I would like to the application of AI in terms of architecture and urban planning. Okay, Sana. So see, in the like we will again discuss it at the end. Like, please remind again at the end, and we will talk about it. Okay, great, great. Sure. So now, if we talk about the deep learning models, like this deep learning or neural network model, underlying it's all about the neural network. Now, there are different type of architectures which can be built using this neural network. We can create a lot of combinations that how these neurons will communicate with each other. Okay. Now, there are different type of models which we will talk again after some time, but at a plain level, what these models are trying to do is there are an input layer where the actual input is going to come. All the input is mostly in the form of numbers. Okay, so this will like any type of information, be it text, images, or any type of data that will be first transformed to the numbers form. And then that number would be coming as an input to the model. After that, this data, the input data will be transformed by the neural network. A lot of mathematical computation will go into transforming this input to the output, the expected output. Okay, for example, let's imagine we have a image detection example, and in the image detection, if the multiple images are coming and we are trying to categorize them. In this case, let's say we are categorizing them into four different classes. We can say there are four different car brands. Okay, maybe like BMW or any type of like Jeep or bus or maybe like a different type of car. We are creating a four different categories. Input is an image and output is a category which we want to define as what this image basically represents. So this neural network model internally will do a lot of transformation. The whole goal is how do we transform this input into this output category? So while the training, there is a stage called as a training stage where we will have a data. Okay, we will need a separate data which will have all this categorization. Image one, this is the expected class. Image two, this is the expected class. Image three, this is the expected class. We will have this called as a training data. And then this training data in the stage of training, we will pass it through these models, and these models will be learning some formula. This is more of like an internal complex mathematical formula that this model will learn by itself. We have to do some form of control. We have some form of control that what kind of complex models we can create. But once we define that, these models will learn to refine all these calculations such a way that the input will be transformed to this output. Okay, this models are so beautiful in the structure that they have this internal structure where they will be transforming this number. Every neuron will have some value. Every neuron will have a value which will be multiplied with the given information, and then we transform it to the output. And this model will learn by itself how should I do these calculations so that the input will be transformed to the accurate output. So at every stage, what happens is we compare it with the expected output. We already have a training data. We pass in the input. Model will give one level of output. Output we got it. It will be compared with the expected output. Is the model giving the expected output? The model will compare. If no, it will go and change all the values. That is called as like in a mathematical way, we try to derive the values again for other values here. Okay. And then this model will keep refining itself. That is the refining part, training part, where it will keep learning by itself that, okay, how do I transform so that I'll be able to learn the classes? And once that is done, this model will be used in the real world, where now you can feed it any type of an image. You can feed it any new type of an image, and then this model will be able to give you the category. This is how there's the training stage where we make this model learn by feeding it the input information, the training data. It learns the pattern, and once it has learned the pattern, then we can use it in the real world. We will deploy it in the real world, and then any type of input that comes, it will be able to recognize. Okay, so there will be input layer, this hidden layers, and output layer. So concept of derivative goes into it. Okay, basic derivatives will be used to identify how to transform this given information. There are a lot of different theoretical concepts and practical mathematical concepts which goes into it to build this models. But as a data scientist or as a ML engineers, we will not be doing a lot of calculation by ourselves, but we need to understand how those works internally so that we can create a optimized models. Okay, so the neural network has the layers of interconnected nodes or neurons that work together to process input data. And this is also called as a fully connected deep neural network because every node is connected to every other node in the layers. That's why we call it fully connected neural networks. And the data flows to multiple layers where each neuron performs some non-linear transformations. Okay, it's non-linear, it's not just a linear transformation, but there are non-linear functions that we add to it to make the computation non-linear and enabling the model to learn some complex patterns and representations that is part of the data. And in the deep neural network, the input layer receives the data, which is then passed through the several hidden layers. Okay, and then this hidden layers apply these functions to transform the data, and finally we get an output from as a prediction. That's what we call as a prediction because this model, when we use it in live, They are not just trying to give what we know, but even on unknown data that we have not used in the training, even when we pass that kind of data, the model will be able to give us a good prediction that, okay, I have a probability that this is a truck or this is a car. Something like that as a probability, as a prediction will be available. So if you talk about the difference with respect to machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning is like applies the statistical algorithm to learn the hidden patterns and relationships in the data set. So machine learning purely works on understanding some patterns which are more of statistical from a lot more structured data. But with the deep learning, it uses artificial neural networks as an architecture to learn some kind of a hidden patterns which are not very linear but may have a lot of non-linear representations inside the data set. Can work with the smaller data set, but deep learning can be used to scale to a lot more bigger data. For example, this ChatGPT based model, they are trained on a trillions of GBs of data. Okay, like these are like models which are trained on such a large amount of data, which with the machine learning models we can't do. Machine learning models will have some limitations in terms of what is the quantum of data that we can pass it with, better suited for simple tasks, whereas the deep learning can go on to understand a lot more complex patterns from the data. Okay, even unstructured, the audio, video, these are like very complex data. We as a humans can understand this data very well. Okay, because we are trained or we are built in such a way so we can work with this data in a good way. But training these models with deep learning has become a possibility because of the neural network based architecture. And ML-based model takes a lot less time to train them. Like within days, you can train multiple models. But when you're going with a deep learning model, it may require a lot of compute and also a lot of time. Because as we are building a larger model, a lot of computation goes into it. And with this computation, it can take a good amount of time. Models are built using the relevant features manually extracted from the images to detect the object. And here the relevant features are extracted automatically by the model through some end-to-end learning process. With machine learning, whatever data we are feeding, we have to do a lot of pre-analysis. We have to do a lot of EDA, that's called as exploratory data analysis. We have to do that pre-hand to identify which column. Like for example, let's say you are building um, ML model to identify the loan eligibility. Okay, if you're building it for a loan eligibility, you have a lot of features about a customer. And but to identify the eligibility, there could be some important factors. For example, age, what is the location, the CIBIL score, what is the salary, how many loans he has taken earlier. Some of these important columns will help us create a better model. And other all columns we have to exclude and only pass in the required columns as the input to the model. That's what we have to do in the machine learning. But with deep learning, we don't have to do this pre-hand selection. This model in an iterative learning process can do a lot more elimination by itself. As it is trying to go through the data, it will identify that, okay, these are the features which are more important for me, and these are the features which are not important. It will automatically try to give them a lower weightage, and the important features will automatically get some higher weightage with the deep learning based models. So less complex and easier to interpret the results. Whereas deep learning models are more complex and may not be that easy to understand what they are trying to learn internally. They become more of a black box. There are certain strategies available where we can go deep into identifying how and what these models are trying to learn. But still, we can't go very granular in understanding how this model actually work. There will be a lot of black box pieces. Can run on a CPU and require a lot less computing power. But as compared to the deep learning model, they will require a lot of compute power because they're complex in nature and require a lot of mathematical complex formulas to be run. So that's why there is also a requirement for GPU. GPUs are refined for doing a lot more mathematical computation, and that's where GPUs helps in getting a better outcome and faster result. Like you can run some complex models with the GPUs and you can get a faster result. With respect to CPU, CPUs are built for a very specific type of specific categories of output. So those would be able to handle a lot more complex. the computations. So, in terms of deep learning applications, one is going to be like computer vision. So, deep learning models help machines interpret and understand visual data. As we discussed, the visual data can be interpreted, the complexities between the visual data. The visual data is not very straightforward. When we load it inside the computers, those are loaded as a individual pixels, and each pixel will have some numeric values to represent the intensity of it. And those pixel values are in a grid size shape, in either a 2D form, in a 3D form. So learning and interpretation out of those images can be tricky. So these deep learning based models can go inside those pixels and try to understand the relationships and do some learning. So we can do different type of applications like object detection and recognition. Given an image, what kind of objects are present? Is there a ball, car, person, any type of thing? What all objects are present as part of the given image is something that we do with the object detection. And then also recognizing what is present. One is like just a detection that there is an object. That okay, this is an object, this is an object, just to identify that there is some type of object present. And then recognizing that okay, this is this type of object that can be done. There are many different models which are available to do object detection and recognition related activity. Second is the image classification, where we just identify what is the class of the image. Like every image will be classified, for example, like the example that we talked about, the image, what is the object? For example, is it a car related image? Is it a truck related image? Is it both? Does it have both of the objects? So we can have the classification, and this model can easily classify and give us some response. Image segmentation. So object detection is just about detecting that, okay, there is an object. Segmentation is actually you're trying to carve out that object from the given image. Okay, you identify the exact area where that object is present. Like if there is a human, you'll exactly identify the curve of the humans within the image. So that is the segmentation part which we can do. In terms of NLP, which is natural language processing, we can do like one thing that everybody must be doing right now is the generation part using the GPT or any other LLM based model. One thing is we can generate the text, and that is created through the deep learning model. Like if you want to build your very custom image, the text generation based models that can be done or created with your own data and using the NLP based deep learning models. Language translation. Translating from one language to another is also one of our applications with NLP. Identifying the sentiment. I discussed some time back that okay, in social media, if the chunks or if the tweets are coming, we can go to those tweets and run through the ML model and identify the sentiment. A sentiment is about what is the intent of that text. Is it a positive intent? Is it a negative intent? Is it an angry intent? Is it a like those kind of emotional intents we can identify using the sentiments. And then there is a speech recognition. As part of our audio, we can also convert a text to a speech and also speech to a text. Both of it can be done with the NLP based models. Then third is the reinforcement learning as one of a category. So reinforcement learning, if you guys have all played Mario, okay, one of the game, like any type of game that you play, at the start, you may not have any idea around what the game is. You will start from the scratch. Okay, you will start always from the scratch. And does anybody know you're like, if you guys have played Mario, what is the first thing that will come in the game? Does anybody know? Like when you start the game, I don't know how many must have played yet, but if you have, the initial obstacles could be there could be a tortoise or there could be a mushroom or it could be a pipe. But first thing is either the tortoise or the mushroom. But when you play first time, you don't know what to do. Whether you should be jumping into it, you should be touching it, you should not be touching it. You don't know anything. You just go and bump into it. Then you get to know, okay, not this is not a right thing. Next time again you start and you know, okay, this is a bad thing to do. You will do a different activity as compared to what we did last time. So this is a reinforcement based on some kind of a reward and penalty. You want to win the game. That's your reward. And you don't want to lose. And when you're losing in the game, that's your penalty. And you get to know that, okay, I'm doing something wrong. And as you're progressing in the game, you get to know, okay, I'm doing something good. So that's your reward. So, in a same concept, reinforcement learning tries to bring a reward and penalty based situation where the model's goal is how do I increase the reward and reduce the penalty. So it does a multiple iterations in the system. It keeps doing multiple iterations and learns if I do this, this is bad. If I do this, this is good. It learns this rules by itself. And once it has those rules learned, it will try to apply them with a good indication of okay, wherever I should be doing a higher positive rewards. You may have heard of Deep Blue, which is a chess automation model, which was able to defeat some top players in the chess. That was trained with the reinforcement learning. There was also Deep Go, AlphaGo, which was again a Go-based game. The automation around that, people thought the Go automation can take um, a lot of time, but it was like people with the reinforcement learning, the it was able to be trained and there was like the top players in that game will be defeated. Then Dota based games. So there are many different games which people were able to create models which were much better than the humans in that. So that was all trained with reinforcement learning. Even the recent the ChatGPT based models to make them behave better. Okay, to make them behave better, they should not be doing any kind of bad language or any kind of unwanted things. Reinforcement learning is used to teach them that see, if you do this good behavior, you will have a good reward. If you do bad thing, you will have a bad reward. And with that, this model will keep refining. And now you will see that those models are like much more better in terms of communication. You will like to talk with them because they're fine tuned to do that. Okay. So game playing, robotics, control system, all of these are like different situations where reinforcement learning plays an important role. So advantages with the deep learning, it has a very high accuracy. With this models, we can create some architecture and with a good amount of data, we can build some good accuracy models. Automated feature engineering, this time as we discussed, the models can do the feature extraction by itself. Scalable, these models can be scaled easily for a large use cases when it can be deployed on a multiple machines and many people can use it at the same time. Flexible in terms of type of data that it can handle. It can handle text, images, videos, audio, different type of data we can deal with it and allows the continuous improvements. So these models can be continuously improved and they can perform better as the data, more data becomes available and more feedback becomes available. So with all those things, we can continuously keep improving these models. Now, coming to about the deep learning. So deep learning is one of the best edtech platforms which is available to provide the higher education. So they have a best completion rates and satisfaction and also the career transition related facilities. So the program around the PGP and AIML is ranked higher in many of the rankings. It has like a 12 months of program, provides a flexible structure, certificates also from Great Lakes and the UT Austin. It's number one ranked for many consecutive years, has a immersive learning with hands-on experience. And also you will get a peer-to-peer learning experience with this program. And many different well-known faculty members are have created the program and will be there for this program. As part of a curriculum, there will be fundamental modules and also self-paced modules which will be available. And then you will get a domain exposure around supervised and supervised learning, the deep learning that we were discussing about, and also specialized features around the computer vision and NLP. Over this whole journey, you will be going through different type of tools, which are very important to learn or work on this technologies. Okay, so some career transition. So you will have feedback form being shared by the team. You can just fill the form. If you have any questions, you will be able to get the team connect with you. But the questions over the chat, I will
Yeah.
be able to
So,
answer.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Mr. Rishikesh, for sharing such insightful perspective on this deep learning concept, right? So even I personally learned a lot of about how this deep neural networks process data and how automated features extraction differentiates deep learning from traditional machine learning as well, right? And even I'm sure like our audience also found it extremely valuable. So now let's open the floor for the questions. So we like recommend the learners, like the audience, to be have to ask the questions about the content which we have discussed.
Sure. So I'll just be going through the
Yeah.
chat from the questions. So there was one question around the scope for AI ML engineering in future. See, AI and ML is right now still growing. It's still a nascent stage. There's still a lot of growth that is going to happen over this field. So this field is going to be there, and over the future, a lot more new things which are going to come. So I would say the scope wise, there is still a lot of scope. Things have just started. A lot more automations and all approaches and strategies are going to be coming. Okay, so next question, architect, and I would like to like the application of AI in terms of architecture and urban planning. So, Sana, there are many use cases which are going in the architecture space. I may not be very well versed with the architecture area, but see, urban planning and all lot of optimizations, the image-based like structural audits, and all can be done with the AI strategy. But if you want to know any specific application out of architecture, there I may be able to answer you, but I'm not well versed with that, so may not be able to answer your question fully. Okay, so Vivek asks, graduate dropout without any graduation degree, would I be able to do this? So, Vivek, graduation nowadays is a very questionable thing. Okay, it again depends on the company to company. Some companies may have some criteria around taking people, and some may not have it. So you will be able to apply with the companies which may not have any kind of criteria, but this companies values more around the knowledge than the degree. So that mindset is changing right now, where the companies are focusing more on knowledge than just the degree part. Okay, so you will find many companies that will have this open option, and there you may apply. Okay, how much can we rely on the output generated by a deep learning machine? Okay, so see, there is always we have an evaluation, Punita. So we when we build this model, so as I said, there's the training and testing stage. When we do the training, we try to evaluate this model that okay, whatever is our goal, how good we are able to achieve that goal. We will come up with the percentage accuracy, for example, 99, 95, 90. So that will help us in identifying that, okay, how good we can rely. If it is 90% performance we got in the training, we know that, okay, there's still a 10% of chance that this model may not work the way expected. But there are situations where we think that, okay, the 10% is still fine because from the real world, we are still able to get a more benefit. So we go ahead with that. Even with this ChatGPT based things, 3 to 4 years back, they were not that good. There were many hallucinations, there were many um, unexpected outputs. So, but over the time, those models have improved. But when not, they were still released and people were still using that. Okay. So software testing, and there are a lot of development happening in my company related to ML for part classification tool path creations for NC files. So I want to understand if this code is good for me. So if you're talking about ML and AI, if you're going into that field, so yes, this course is going to be very helpful to you to understand how this ML models actually work, what all things goes into it, how to build the proper production grade applications, what all goes into that. So all the strategies you will be able to understand to for being a part of this course. Okay.
So I have one
So
question, Mr. Rishikesh, regarding this deep
yeah,
learning. So majority of the learners, like they feel like, why I want to learn AI right now. So whether I need to learn AI to survive in the market, or let's wait for another 2 years or 3 years until everything goes good. So what will be your point of view in that case? Like how soon, like someone need to learn AI so that they can able to, to understand the market demands, by the way.
right. So see now. with deep learning, as we see the Gen AI and all space are all built on top of the deep learning. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of value in getting that. And as I said, these are still like early development. There are a lot of things still that will be happening. There are so many applications coming up, so many new startups are coming up. So whole technology landscape is changing. Creating the technology now is becoming common. A lot more roles are going to open up for
Mhm.
people because technology is going to expand and democratize. And that's where more roles would be available for everyone. And deep learning as a technology would still be applicable even to fine tune this model, to improve these models. There is a concept of right now LLMs, but
Mhm.
those LLMs are not good for everyone. So there's also a new concept which is called as SLMs, which are a shorter language model. Now, there'll be people who are required to create short language models for domain specific applications, where these companies can have a smaller model, low cost models, which are not generic because this ChatGPT and all are very generic right now. They are built for everything, but companies may not want a generic model, but something that is very specific to their use case. So there, the deep learning based engineers and all would be required. So still, there's a lot of scope which is going to be there for I would say there will be more number of roles which will be open now in the space.
Understood.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. So
thanks.
in terms of question, I want to do AI ML engineering. Does it have a wide scope in future? If not, which course have a wide? So as I already mentioned, Kirtika, there will be a good scope for AI ML over the future. How can I know if I'm fit to explore the opportunities in AI? It seems very exhaustive. I'm currently having 9 years of professional life experience. People guide on that. Thank you for the session. So, so Sharad, like even when I started, I used to like every year procrastinate to learn that okay, it's a math heavy thing. How should I learn? What should I do? But like even I started the great learning around some 7, 8 years back. After that, I was able to transition. But for me also, many years over the online learning, I was skeptical, trying to keep procrastinate. But getting some mental based learning will help you a lot in terms of completing that end-to-end journey. When we do it by ourselves, if we have a strong will and strong focus, we will be able to sit through and complete it. But not everybody will have it like me, who may just continuously keep speaking like the life right now that we are in everywhere is like we want every like fast thing. If we don't have focus, we may immediately get diverted to something different. So having a structured learning path with the mental based approaches can help you to complete the things and get into that field. Okay. So fit is one part because I moved from a testing field, which was very different. And then I moved completely into the development in the AI part. So the fit is something you have to define that you want to explore the field. And if you really are interested, you can create a fit into that um, technology, I would say. Okay.
So put a light into this question. I have one more question, by the way. So how can like
Yeah.
working professionals, someone having more than 5 years, 9 years, 10 years, they are currently working, let's say someone starting from morning 10 and they are reaching home by 7 or 8, right? So majority of the professionals are thinking about the time constraints, by the way. So they are having an intent to learn, but due to the time constraints and the commitments they are having, so they are postponing their plan. So what will be your point of view in terms of time constraints? How come working professionals can able to manage their time so that they can go for a further improvement in their career growth?
Right. See, I know that's a big challenge, but one thing is like the travel time, if you're able to use it well, we can do it because right now we can listen to the things. If not directly looking into it in the travel time, we can listen through the audio and still utilize that time in a much better way. So that is one part. The second is even during the office, how can we skip at least from 15, 20, 30 minutes of time and then utilize that time to do some learning because all the learning will be divided into small snippets of like 15 minute, 20 minute, 30 minute. So still, if we can take out the time and learn those things in the step-by-step format. See, because even nowadays, I would say in Instagram itself, we may be spending so much of time. Okay, like Instagram itself can take our 1 to 2 hours daily, more than that, but still, because that's the unconscious time that we are spending into things that we are not aware of. But still, we have a time, but we are putting it into things which we don't prioritize. So, if you have a priority, then you will be able to reduce some unwanted priority and then focus into that. Okay, so you have to identify that time gaps which are available and then use that time in a much more productive way. If you're able to do it, I will guarantee you will be able to get the knowledge. Initial time always feels a bit tough because whenever you start something new, whenever you start learning something new, it feels exhausting because a lot of new concepts are there, new things are there. But if you stick around and you continue that journey, then things will start getting slowly better and better. But any learning, the starting point is where you have to put that extra effort to get comfortable, and then the other things become smooth. Otherwise, start phase feels very exhaustive, daunting. I have time constraint. I'm not able to understand. Am I really good for this? A lot of these questions will come into your mind when you are getting started. Okay, so
Yes,
that's what I would say.
got it.
Great, great. So, obtain data sets. So, I think the data sets you will be able to obtain, like there will be a lot of different things right now. If you want like for learning purpose data sets, even ChatGPT can help you generate some kind of a dummy data set that will still be very relevant and similar to the real world data, but you can generate something and still experiment with that. You don't have to wait for the real data to be available nowadays. Okay, which AI agent is most reliable? Which AI agent is um, a very big question, I would say, issue. So you need to expand on that question. Tesla is launched in India, so it's an example of neural network. Yes, Tesla has a lot of neural network based models integrated in its overall technological product. Is it applicable in EDA tools? If yes, how are we going to process and how can we start? Currently, I'm working in a EDA tools. Are you, when you say EDA, is it about exploratory data analysis?
No,
If
like
yes,
it's a electronic design automation, it seems, EDA.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I may not have a very right answer for this thing, but AI is being applied nowadays. Like you can have a EDA tools where you can prompt, and then to some level for you, the designs would be ready as a template. Then you can again make further changes to it. But with the prompt, some level of designs can be done, and then more refining manually can be added. So AI is being used in this way right now. What is the scope as part of a VLSI semiconductor industry when I start to learn on deep learning? So, see, I may not be able to give a very good response, Anthony, on the VLSI semiconductor industry, like how it is being used. As I said, GPUs and all this technology is powering this industry. So that's where this technologies are playing a very important role. All of this will have expanded usage because more deep learning based models are going to be there in the productions here on. So all of that is going to grow. What the scope of DL and ML with respect to sales and business development in a renewable industry? Okay, so the renewable industry, deep learning and ML may help you make a lot of predictions in terms of identifying the right customers, getting a predictions in terms of which customers to pitch to, who's the customers who are going to again renew things, how do we optimize the energy related aspects. So all those things will help, and also the prompt engineering and all of those agentic AI use cases are also applicable over the sales and business development domain, where uh, building agentic AI applications can help you do a lot of automation the way you are representing yourself with the client. So that's also one of our other use case. Okay. First of all, deep learning. How will I figure out this deep learning? I deep dive in recently. Okay. So Raj, I may not be very clear with the question, but deep learning, I dive in recently. I will figure out this journey. So see, that's what I said. Like one is you create your own plan, you stick with the plan. So see, plan is available everywhere. Like what's a journey that you can follow to learn the data science, AI, ML, deep learning. Everywhere you will find the journey that okay, these are the steps you need to follow, these are the technologies you need to learn. But if you are focused enough, you can follow that whole path very well. go ahead with that and you will be able to complete that journey. Other option would be go for a mentor-based approach where somebody would be able to push you to get things done and you will be able to achieve those things without any procrastination. Uh, can AI destroy majority AI jobs for employees? See, that's a big question, but see, overall, like the IT industry has been growing. If you think of like whether destroy the IT industry, that's a very different thing because people have been doing assembly language coding, C++ based coding. So when the Python came for C++, people thought that okay, our jobs are gone. Now the whole IT is gone because Python is automating so many things. But that didn't have doesn't happen. Python has created new jobs. Similarly, this AI, the AI is also creating new type of jobs, which is again similar to like deep learning engineers, AI agent engineers, LLM engineers. This will open a lot more new type of roles. Some jobs may destroy, but a lot more new jobs are going to come because of this.
So, Mr. Rishikesh, I have a question in this, by the way, on
Yeah.
behalf of all the learners. So, many learners are thinking like artificial intelligence, machine learning is a kind of technical like subject which only IT professionals who are working as a developers or else program managers or solution architects, for them only it will be suitable. Likewise, the mindset, right? So can you put a light on it, like what it's all about AI, and is it kind of only subjects related to only professionals who are working in IT, or it's suitable for all non-technical professionals?
So nowadays, uh, technology in itself as a learning is not limited to only technology people. Now, technology and programming can be learned by anyone. And over the past few years that I've been training, there are many non-tech people who have learned the things and transitioned their careers and gone into the technology field. There are many examples around that. So if you're able to put some good effort, even from the non-tech background, you will be able to learn the technology and make the transition in the technology field. So uh, technological people may be able to grasp the things in a faster way because they are in that field. For non-tech people, it may take slight time to adjust to the new thing. They may require some extra efforts to learn the basic foundation. But once you're good with the foundation, you will be similar to the other IT people because the foundations are what makes you different because they have got some foundations and you don't have that foundation. That's where you are different. But once you also have that foundation, then you will be able to work in a similar way. For other non-tech people, domain knowledge plays a very important role because data science or AI is all about data. It's all about how do we leverage the data to get the patterns extracted. IT
Understood.
people or software people may be good in the technology, but they struggle with the domain. But
Mm.
if you can learn the technology, but plus you already have a domain knowledge, that can take you much ahead.
So let's say if someone who is coming from a non-coding background, someone who is not heard about Python, or someone who is working as a manager, who is in the past, it's been like 5, 6 years past, he has done a coding. So how about for them, by the way?
Yeah, like they can easily learn the Python. Python has become so simple now, even with the GenAI being available. You just need to learn the foundation. If you learn
Mm.
the foundation once, the vibe coding as a terminology which is going on, or a GenAI based coding, the GenAI or the LLMs and ChatGPT can generate a code for you, but they will still do some mistakes. To correct those mistakes, you still need to have a foundation. If you think that okay, now all the code will be generated by the ChatGPT and I don't need to learn foundations of coding, that doesn't work yet
Mm.
because when you create the code with this GenAI based tool, they will still do mistakes. And if you don't know the foundations and fundamentals, you will not be able to change or debug what is the mistake and correct those mistakes. So that's where like anyone nowadays can learn programming fundamentals and create applications. There are many
Understood.
examples where people are building good applications even from the non-tech background, but you should get that foundation. Foundation plays a very important role.
Understood. Thank you. So, like learners, I have shared the feedback form to this chat box, by the way. So your feedback is much important for us. And meanwhile, you can have questions with Mr. Rushikesh also. He's ready to answer the questions.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great guys. Last question I can see is, can we learn only NLP or deep learning separately? Rajesh, can be done, but you will need foundations around machine learning also before you dive into deep learning. You will need some foundations of machine learning to get to deep learning. Directly going to the deep learning, you will lose a lot of basic fundamentals and may struggle when you directly go to deep learning. Okay, so how much statistics background one should have, also Python and its packages. So statistics, some basic statistics around mean median mode, hypothesis testing, and some tests would be good, which you will be learning over the course as part of the curriculum. Okay, so statistics, some fundamentals around mean median mode, hypothesis testing, and some other type of tests that would be required. But there is a mathematical level requirement, the statistics, probability, linear algebra, derivatives, those all other mathematical concepts are required if you are going for the deep learning. Okay. Python into packages, there are just see n number of packages for different type of requirements. Foundations of Python is one thing, but now if you're going for machine learning, there are different packages. If you're going deep learning, there are different packages. If you're going for LLM based model, there are different packages. So packages are different for different type of requirements. And how much coding knowledge is required, which part of AIML required complex coding. See, not complex coding, you will need at least the fundamentals as I said. If you have the fundamentals, you will be able to build complex applications nowadays with the GenAI based coding being available. But fundamentals plays a very important role. Okay, is it only Python through which we can create model or code for ML, or is there any other language? So Java and .NET also it comes out, but there is not that much of support for those languages. With Python, there is a lot of support over online. So if you are stuck with some error, like online community will be there, who is like a big community, will be able to help you to resolve any error because everybody is trying and experimenting. But with other languages, that support is there. If you're stuck, you will not be able to get a good support to resolve that. But there are libraries available with other languages also to implement ML and DLP strategies. Even LLM is also available. Like recently, Java new library came in for LLM and agentic AI application. So other libraries will also have it. But as the user will be less, there will not be much of a support.
So we have one more question from our learner, by the way. I have 8 years of experience in non-AI domain. If I switch to AI/ML domain, will my experience be started from freshers, or how it will be impact in my salary structure? Will I be treated as a fresher or experienced professional?
Doesn't have to be. You have to consider this as a one of our tools. Like in your existing career or life, you will be learning lot of tools, right? Even in the 8 year journey, you must have learned lot of new things. It doesn't mean you will be starting from the scratch. So when you learn AI as a technology, you have to see how you can mix it with your existing knowledge, with your existing domain, with existing work that you're doing, how you can expand that. So learning this tool, you have to see how you can start leveraging. If you think of, I'll make a complete transition, that may create some challenge because there you will struggle. If you say that, okay, from whatever role I'm in, I want to completely get into the AIML role, that may not happen immediately. So you have to see the transition journey. You have to create your transition journey. You have to start implementing things in your existing organization. You start creating some projects, and then over the time, you will be able to transition fully into it. But you have to see how you can implement AI in your existing work because nowadays AI can be applied at every part of your work. So you have to see how you can do that. That will make your journey of fully transition uh, much easier.
Understood.
Okay, great everyone. Thanks a lot for all your questions. I hope it was like you guys were able to learn something new from this session. Uh, Great. Thank you very much. Best of luck to everyone here. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rushikesh. Like it's been a wonderful session by explaining the deep learning with very understandable examples. Thanks.
Great, great. Sure. Thank you. Bye. Take care.
So learners, now it's the time to explain about the program, by the way, wherein it's mentioned like from great learning, right? Hope you got some clarities about the deep learning concepts. So now it's the time to understand how this curriculum will be helping your career into the transition, or else increasing your productivity, those kind of a things, right? So the program which Great Learning offers is postgraduate program in artificial intelligence and machine learning, offered by University of Texas at Austin, America, and Great Lakes University in Chennai and Gurgaon. So it's a 12 months duration program, and it's an online program designed for this professionals who are coming from a technical background or non-technical background, right? So we have been catered the curriculum in such a way so that the learners can able to learn according to their pace, right? So this 12 months journey, which will be starting from the foundations level, the first 2 months it will be starts with the foundations, starting with your Python programming, as Mr. Rushikesh mentioned, fundamentals, it's important for the Python. So we are starting with the Python programming foundations, and then we are getting into the mathematics concepts like linear algebra, probability, statistics, calculus. So these things will be there. And post that, starting from the third month onwards, we'll be getting into the technical concepts like, let's say, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, neural networks, NLP, NLTK. So nearly 27 plus cutting edge tools and technologies will be covered in the span of 12 months time period, completely online sessions as well. So meanwhile, if you have any questions related to our program, you can put it in the chat box so I can able to help you with that. So I have been working as a senior consultant in Great Learning for this last 3-4 years as well in Great Learning. So my role is to help the candidates to understand their portfolio and to help them with to get into the program, by the way, right? So 12 months, by the way, and it's an online program. Mostly it will be deals with the foundations level and as well as advanced level, kind of end-to-end curriculum, if I would do say, right? So projects will be around 80 percentage will be projects will be there. So we'll be working on with real world masked data sets projects, to be honest, coming from the universities like e-commerce domain, fintech domain, agriculture, pharmacy. So likewise, there are 22 domains are there, right? Across these 22 domains, 11 projects you will be going to do individual basis, and last one project will be a capstone project, by the way. That is a major project. So 11 individual and one group. That is 12 real world projects will be putable into this program, by the way, right? So if you have any questions till now regarding the program duration and curriculum, you can ask me. I am helpful for the answers. And meanwhile, we are expecting your feedback also regarding the session which was conducted by Mr. Rushikesh. So it will be helpful for us to take it forward in future. What all the changes need to be happen, and what thing has need to be changed, and what is the good things, so which will be helping us as well. Okay, I hope it is answerable your questions, by the way. So this 12 months journey consists of a career assistance also. Once you are completed 60 percentage of your syllabus during 6th month or 7th month time period. So we have around 4,000 plus hiring partners, starting from service-based companies to product-based companies. So these hiring partners will be looking for the candidates, especially in the data domain and AI domain, like data scientists, data analyst, AI engineers, ML engineers. So this job portal access will be having the validity of 2 years as well. From the time period of 60 percentage completion to next 2 years, this validity will be there. So the candidates, it's up to your choice, by the way, which job role you want to go for, which organization, whether it is a service based or product based, it's up to your choice. You can able to select it as well. And since 2017, this AI program has been running in this market with the completion of 95 percentage of completion ratio. So out of 95 percentage of the learners who have completed, 66 percentage of the professionals have got a career transition, by the way, right? So not only the upskillment, also we are helping you with the career transition as well. So there are professionals coming from the technical background, software developers, or get into this AI ML solution architects, non-technical professionals like professors, sales professionals. Do those professionals also done it and they have got a transition? Because AI and ML, it's a kind of a data-driven subject, by the way. It's not any coding background subject, or it's only a technical subject. It's a data-driven combination of mathematics, statistics, and analytics. So that is where we are training here as well. I hope it's got a clarity. Okay. So, like currently, the admissions are happening for this year academic, by the way. That is, the batch is getting started by July 27th. So, for that only, the admissions are going on. If any of the learners would like to participate into a 12 months curriculum journey, means we recommend to go forward and submit your applications. So, post your application is shortlisted, we will be conducting the final screening round with the program director's office. So if the profile is getting shortlisted, then we can able to help you with an onboarding process. So I can see some of the questions has been came. So the question is from Chirag. What is the fee structure and how much is the fees? Yeah. So we have, I can help you with that. So before helping you about the fee structure, let me help you understand the admission process, by the way, how it is happen. So in order to participate into the program, the learners need to submit the application form, which is available in the website, or else I can share my contact details. You can ping me so that I can share it also. So this application form, which will be consist of your education percentage, work experience, statement of purpose, why the reason you want to do the program. So once your application is shortlisted, it will be forwarded to program director's office and you will be having the final technical discussions as well. So post clearing that round, if your profile is shortlisted, then we can able to onboard you for this program as it is a micro batch of 25 members. So one batch will be having only 25 members of micro batch, and that too with a relevant to your profile. Let's say if you are someone who is coming from a development background or testing background or coming from BCom, whatever it is. So we'll be going to batch your profile accordingly. So all 25 members will be having a similar kind of profiles, by the way. So that is the first step to you should be need to do to consider your profile, by the way, right? So then comes the financials. So I hope you have seen in the website, the admissions window is getting closed by July 20th, and we are ending with the last 3 or 5 seats alone. So the actual fee for this program, it will be 2,75,000 plus 18 percentage of GST. I repeat, 2,75,000 plus 18 percentage of GST, which will be comes around 3,24,500. This is the actual MRP price for this program. And post getting shortlisted and based on the availability of the scholarship seat, your fees might be getting dropped to 2,95,000. That is 2,50,000 plus 18 percentage of GST, which will be getting dropped to 2,95,000. So out of 2,95,000, 30,000 is the admission fees you need to be submitted once after receiving your admission offer. So once this 30,000 is paid, your student candidature will be confirmed on behalf of University of Texas, and you will be getting the portal activation within 24 hours of time period, right? And then the balance amount 2,65,000 can be converted into either one-time payment or you can go for installment options. So let's say if you are someone who want to go for a one-time payment through debit or credit means you will be getting additional 14,000, 12,000 plus 18 percentage of GST. That is 14,160 rupees. From 2,65,000, your fee will be getting dropped to 2,50,000 some change. You can use either debit or credit. Or else if you want, if you are someone who are looking for a installment options means the balance 2,65,000 can be converted into 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, no cost EMI, 0% interest. Or else like 18 months, 24, 36, 48, up to 60 months, we are providing a low cost interest starting from 2.5 percentage per annum to 7.6 percentage per annum. So you can get an EMI roughly around 6,000, 7,000 in a monthly basis. It will be totally depends on your requirements, by the way, right? I hope this answers your questions. You have any questions in the financials, let me know so we can help you with that. And moreover, I'm dropping my WhatsApp number, by the way. If someone who is looking to understand more about the curriculum, let's say I am a testing background, I am coming from development background, how this program will be helpful for me. If you want to deep dive much into the curriculum, how this curriculum will be shape your career, or do you want to understand more about the alumni who have got a transition, these things. So I will be sharing my WhatsApp number. So I have pasted in the chat box, by the way. So this is my official WhatsApp number. So you can able to send a text message so we can have a discussion, by the way. So we can able to help you with the onboarding process, or you have a someone who are comparing our curriculum with some other platforms, because there are lakhs of courses available in the platform. So you need a more insight. So why our curriculum is costing this much, why that curriculum is costing less than that. So if you need a more insights, you want to have a connect with one-on-one with me, likewise you can directly ping me in my WhatsApp, or I can share my email ID to email also. And moreover, we are ending with this last few seats for this admissions only. So we recommend the learners to start as soon as possible, because the reason is AI has been evolving across everywhere. So AI is not a futuristic topic anymore. So we understood day-to-day life, what AI is changing. Currently, we are experiencing agentic AI, and in near future, we are experiencing model context protocol, MCP, right? So these things are happening. So it is better to start early to capture the market, by the way. So the competition is very lesser. Everyone are learning AI currently, right? So let's say if you are someone who is starting right now, you can able to complete this program by 2026 June, right? So we recommend you to complete as soon as possible to go for most of the opportunities right now in the market. So any questions you have related to our program, by the way? Okay, I have got one question from Sayak Chatterjee, that this provide master's degree like normal full-time MS. Okay, so currently this program, the postgraduate program, is a 12 months duration only. But in order to get your master's degree, you need to invest additional one more year. That is 12 months plus 12 months, 24 months. You need to invest 2 years, right? So currently we will be helping you to onboard for this 12 months, and post that we will be helping you to transit into master's degree, which will be coming from Walsh College, which is in US in Mexican. So that will be a official MS in the stream of AI and ML itself. You have an options to transform this 12 months program into master's degree and as well as doctorate degree also. So these options will be available. So I have a question from Sendil Kumar. How long will be this session? So like you are asking about the program duration. So program duration, it will be a 12 months duration, by the way. Monday to Friday, it will be a self-paced pre-recorded sessions. You can watch it according to your availability. And back to weekend, either Saturdays or Sunday, one day, there will be live sessions will be conducted. You can able to choose the options, whether you want to go for a Saturday sessions or Sunday sessions. You can able to select it during onboarding time. It will happens for 2 to 3 hours maximum. So Monday to Friday, it is self-paced content based on your availability. You can watch it 45 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. And weekend one day, you need to spend 2 hours to 3 hours. So the weekly commitment should be 6 to 8 hours for working professionals, 6 hours to 8 hours. So we recommend you to spend 6 to 8 hours on weekly basis for first 7 months to 8 months. And during the final month, like let's say during 10th month, 11th month, and 12th month. So that time period, we recommend you to spend additional 1 hour so that you can complete the projects on time also. I hope it answers your question. So is there is any other questions you guys have? And meanwhile, we recommend you to submit a feedback as well. So it will be helpful for us. And I have shared my WhatsApp number and email ID. If any of the candidates who want to know more about, or who is looking to understand more about how this 12 months journey will be shape my career, or who want to understand more deep dive into the curriculum, means kindly let me know. So kindly ping me in WhatsApp, or you can send an email as well. So we are good to help you with that. So any questions, guys? Okay, I hope like everyone got a good time in understanding deep learning, and moreover a little bit about our curriculum also. So if you guys have any further more assistance, means kindly contact us. So we are helpful. We are going to help you as well. And moreover, kindly submit the feedback as well. So it will be helpful for us, right? So thank you. Thank you for your time, by the way. Hope you had a good time.